good morning all, and I want to welcome you to not only the August 11th meeting of the Barnstable County Commissioners, but also to the tour we're going to have with Bill Clark in the Cape Cod Extension Program. So we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We only have one item of business this morning, and that is to vote our summary of actions, which is the business of the county. So, Bill, if you would
just give me a moment. On item number 18, is this a conduit of money from from Massachusetts Emergency Management?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And I believe, Bill, what they're doing is that they're setting up some a funding program for the shelters, and that we don't run into the same situation we did last year. We have to open a shelter, and then the bills go to the town. This way, not somebody pays that.
Good. Thank you. Then I'm prepared to offer a motion to approve.
All right, I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. 2 in favor. Motion carries. Before we leave on our trip, Bill, maybe you might like to just give everyone an overview of what we're going to be doing this morning. Bill Clark.
Thank you very much.
Why don't you come up here so you can see and tell everybody.
We expect Sheila sometime during the course of the morning, but we're not quite sure just when.
Okay, good morning and thank you. And thank you all for coming to this tour. It's a highlight of our summer. The staff always looks forward to showing the projects we've been working on. And this is our 4th annual tour. We started out in New Orleans, and the second year we were in Yarmouth area and part of Barnstable. Last year we were in the other part of Barnstable in Mashpee. So we're in Falmouth this year. As you probably all know, we have projects from the bridge to Provincetown, so we like to showcase what we're doing. Before I go too far into the agenda, I just want to introduce Dr. Judy McDowell. Judy's here, she'll be with us today. Dr. McDowell is the director of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Sea Grant Program and a partner of our department in the county. And our marine program, several of the staff are partially funded by county and sea grant funds. And so thank you for coming with us today. I don't think we've had a formal meeting with the commissioners and Dr. McDowell. So. Today's tour will start right here at the fairgrounds. We have 2 items we'll be showcasing. One is the demonstration garden, our horticulture program. One of the things they do is have a demonstration garden to show people all the latest in horticulture. And they work in cooperation with industry as well. You'll see other industry displays around the garden. But the center garden is primarily our department with volunteer master gardeners. And I won't go into any more detail, I'll let them describe what they're doing. We also have 4-H clubs and 4-H programs throughout the county. And there's one that meets here, it's a bee club. And so some of the children that are in the club, as well as the leaders, will be here talking about what they do on a regular basis with their beekeeping program. And then we'll continue along to a conservation area. We have a land management grant program that we provide to the towns. And we'll see one of the results of one of our grants. We have a nursery that we have at the county farm that we grow trees for municipalities. And you'll see some of the trees that started out in Barnstable Village in our farm and have been planted on streets in Falmouth. We'll continue to the Falmouth Service Center. And we'll meet with our nutritionists who work with the Falmouth Service Center on a variety of projects. and continue to West Falmouth Harbor and meet with the Marine staff and the Shellfish Warden for Falmouth, Chuck Martinson, and talk about several projects we have with the town of Falmouth on shellfish items. And then lastly, we'll end up at the Coonamessett Farm for lunch, a little tour of the farm and have lunch there, and that'll be the day. So we have a lot planned for you. I'm going to be the bad guy pushing you off and on the bus, so I'm going to be moving you along. So we have a lot to go. I have in the bus, I have my itineraries for everybody and a variety of items that describe all our programs, so that after today, if you have questions, you'll know who to contact.
Okay, Bill, before we go, I too want to welcome the many members here from the Falmouth League of Women Voters. There's several. I think they make up the majority of the group here. And we're really happy to have you here and that you're joining us. And also 2 members of the Assembly of Delegates. We have Tom Lynch from the town of Barnstable and Therese Martin from Eastham.
May I ask a question of the
Yes.
Falmouth League of Women Voters? Have any of you watched us on television?
You come on, we get it after the fact, and we have watched you, yeah. During the whole time that we were planning the thing at Highfield,
Yes.
we did watch it on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you.
We're doing the
It's
same.
part of the
with-
survey of, are you really watching this deal?
Well, we have to look every week in the paper as to when it's going to be done.
Okay, so is it on Falmouth TV?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the League of Women Voters from the Mid-Cape arranged for it
Okay,
to come to Falmouth as well.
that's good, thank you.
Okay.
I guess I did one more thing about the department. We're in the big umbrella of the education department of the county, and we are a cooperative. It's Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, one of the older departments. Our first year was 1916, and we are cooperative with Barnstable County. We have some funding and educational backup resources from the University of Mass Amherst, the land grant college, and as I've already said, the Sea Grant program at Woods Hole. So we are cooperative, and we have not only county funds, federal funds through NOAA and through USDA, and we go after as many grants as we possibly can from a variety of sources. So we'll keep it informal all day on the bus, and why don't we proceed? We're ready to our first site.
I don't want to keep our meeting
I
open.
think it's open.
It's
if
open.
you
All
open
right.
it.
We will just go into recess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Roberta Clark, a horticulturist with the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, and she'll tell you about our first stop here.
Well, this is our demonstration area. It's not just a demonstration garden. We have all sorts of different things going on here. And the primary purpose for this particular endeavor by the office is to show folks how they can grow plants in a sustainable manner. While we're not 100% organic, we haven't used chemicals other than biorational materials in this garden in years and years and years. Originally, this was built in 1983. I've been here since 1980 now, so I'm one of the senior members of the county. And it was in a slightly different location, and we just had 8 raised beds. After about 3 or 4 years, Bill and I started pestering the Agriculture Society, who we work cooperatively with on this project, to give us more room, give us more room, give us more room. And of course, it's always be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And so in 1989, they gave us slightly over an acre, which is this whole area here. And we worked cooperatively with the Agriculture Society, with Cape Cod Landscaping Association and the Master Gardener Association, and we created this whole area that you see before you. Now, keep in mind it's mid-August, all right? So, and the landscapers have everything spruced up in their beds. That's all the peripheral beds for the fair, and that's it. And so we have behind you, we have an orchard with dwarf disease-resistant apples. These are newly planted. We took down our old trees because there are newer varieties available to us on extra dwarf and rootstock. And there's such a return to people growing in their own yards these days, not just food, but chickens and what have you. So we're trying to present a complete package here of what someone can do in a small space to provide locally grown, what's more local than your own backyard, locally grown food and flowers and shrubs and things like that. So these are all disease-resistant apples. We do treat them with a dormant oil in spring, and we use a material called spinosad, which many of you, if you've been spraying for winter moths, you've used it. It's a byproduct of a fermentation of a soil bacterium, so it's a very low-impact material, does not affect non-target species, very safe to use. We also have hardy kiwi back there. One other thing we try to do here is show folks there's a lot of things they can grow that they might not think about. So we have hardy kiwi. Those ripen usually in October. They're small. They're larger than a big grape, but they are so sweet. We have gooseberries, which the chipmunk usually eats. We have raspberries. We have blueberries. We have landscape shrub roses. We have an 80-foot perennial border over there, and if you come into the vegetable garden, I'll talk about what we do in here.
Debbie.
You mean we're always busy?
I'm busy.
Excuse me, time out. Let me get out of the frame here. There we go.
All the folks you see working are some of my master gardener volunteers. As I said, we built the garden in this location in 1989, so we're in our 21st location here. Every year, for 21 years, we have top-dressed these beds with either cow manure or compost. So we've built this soil up. I wish I had it in my yard. It's just absolutely gorgeous soil. We start in April. I start in March. I start seeds at home underlight of many different plants. What you've missed because we've already harvested it are artichokes. We grow artichokes here on Cape Cod. Have any of you come to the fair? Then you've seen our artichokes. It's an annual variety, so again, we're demonstrating to folks here on the Cape that there's all sorts of things you can grow that you might not think you could. We've already harvested garlic. We also try to teach succession planting. You can keep your garden going right up until frost, so you see there are a number of areas where we've harvested stuff and have replanted for fall harvest. The public, this is open to the public year-round. People can walk in and ask us questions. I'm here every Wednesday morning with my Master Gardener volunteers. We call it Wednesday Work Days. I could not maintain this area without them. Again, we try to show drip irrigation, minimize water use, use of biorational materials. We use disease-resistant varieties. You see we have a big trellis. The gentleman that's weeding in the blueberries built that for me last year. So we're demonstrating use of vertical space. On the outside we have a butterfly garden. We have an herb garden. And we just have a ton of stuff. I'm often asked, what do you do with all the vegetables? Well, I often say it's the story of the little red hen, me being the little red hen. And my helpers, often when we harvest, my helpers will take stuff home. But the bulk of the material actually goes to a local food pantry. So we're doing a number of things here. Besides feeding ourselves, we're helping to feed folks who have a more difficult time of obtaining fresh local food. This is just one of the projects that, as an extension agent, I'm involved in. It's dear to my heart because I've been a vegetable gardener since I was about 5 years old. I also work with the professionals on Cape with farmers, with landscapers, with consultants. I'm sort of the go-to person on sustainable plants. I frequently field questions from the commission on what plants would be suitable for this type of a project. I teach sustainable gardening both to homeowners and professionals, not only on the Cape but as part of my duties as an extension agent with UMass, which is part of my responsibility, so I do teach statewide. I'll brag a little bit. I've just been awarded the silver medal by the Massachusetts Horticulture Society for my years of service to the folks of Cape Cod, so I'm very proud of that. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Now, Roberta, can citizens just come down, they hear about this on the news or whatever, and can they wander in and do they get a tour or do they just self-guide?
It's open, the fairgrounds is open to the public, so people can come and wander. We usually suggest they check in with the administration first and not to show up with shopping bags. But I have no control over that, and frequently I will arrive here to see someone else has harvested before I got here. I'm on WCAI, the local Cape and Islands public radio station with Mindy Todd once a month, so I'm always talking about what we're doing here at the demonstration garden and encouraging people to come and visit us. If they come on a Wednesday morning, I'm here, you know, but it is open Monday through Friday, I think 8 to 4, and folks can come and take a look. We put the signs up so it's sort of self-explanatory, and a lot of people come to it's open during the fair, and I frequently have folks come. So this year, so many people commented on our cages, and several have said, you know, I built them because I saw them here. Yeah. So we find that our techniques are making their way out into the gardening public. Any other questions?
I step away for a minute. Did you talk about how many Master Gardeners we have and stuff like that?
I have. The Master Garden Association, I started recruiting volunteers in 1987. So we've been going for 23 years now, and there are over 200 volunteers. It's an application process. We always have more people than we can take. So each year I select about 12 to 15 people. In the fall, the board of the Master Gardener Association, they formed a 501(c)(3) a few years back, sit down with me and we go through all the applications and select certain individuals that we then interview, and then we select the final candidates. And I do a 10-week training session, 1 day a week, February through mid-April, and then they're required to give back to the county 60 hours of volunteer service. That is served primarily in our office. We have the Master Gardener Hotline. Last year they fielded over 3,000 inquiries for gardening information. They have a speakers bureau. They speak to civic groups around the Cape. They do soil testing out in the community. They have their own television show that they produce at the Mid-Cape Community Access TV station. We have 2 children's gardens that have been part of this county tour in previous years. There's just so much that they do, and they really truly help me to extend the information that our office has to provide to the public out there. I really couldn't do it without them. So.
Alrighty, any other questions for Roberta?
Feel free to wander. Yes.
Any of this produce ever available for sale, like at the farmer's market in town or any such thing?
No, we don't offer it for sale. I think that might be a conflict of some sort of ethics. We'd rather give it to the local food pantry.
Just hopeful people.
Okay, our next stop is right over here with a 4-H club, so let's head this way. As I mentioned, indoors we have 4-H clubs and programs throughout the county, and we have a club here that meets regularly here. It's a bee club, and I'm going to turn it over to Kalliope Egloff, who is club leader.
Hi everyone. This is one of our 5 working hives we have in Barnstable County, and this is an active hive. There's probably about 50,000 bees in it, so keep your distance. We've been smoking them all morning, so they're pretty relaxed. We also have 2 pollinator gardens because we want to educate on the importance of pollinators in Barnstable County. So we have a pollinator garden here at the County Fairgrounds and one at the community gardens in Route 130 in Mashpee. And the kids maintain the hives and the gardens. I'd like them to maintain them a little bit more, but they do that. And we have some 4-H members who have a hive in their yard or in their farm. And then we have a public hive here. So if a child doesn't have a hive on their farm or in their backyard, then they can come here and they can observe the hive. They don't need a protective gear like Ella is wearing, although she looks like a fencer this morning, but this is actually part of a garb that one of the 4-H members could wear. But they can also, they don't need protective gear to maintain or observe the hive. They can come and watch the hive and see for robber bees and for guard bees and for different kinds of animals that might be interested in the hive, like skunks. Skunks will come and eat bees. And so we have 11 to 13 4-H Bee Club. We meet regularly. Kids can come work in the pollinator gardens or come and look at any of the hives anytime they want because they're open. And we have a good time. The children they built these hives, they painted them. We built the kids built all the frames with the help of our mentor beekeeper from the Barnstable County Beekeepers Association, Andy Morris. We built all the frames for all of 5 of the hives. And so the kids do gardening, beekeeping, building with hammers and glue and nails. And then they do observation if they choose to, so they can see the life cycle of the bees, and then hopefully we'll reap the harvest. Theoretically, we could get quite a bit of honey from these hives, which is the reason why my daughter, who is a beekeeper, she's not here today. We have a beehive in our backyard, and she regularly goes back there and just takes honey out and eats it. That's one of the reasons why she is a beekeeper. The reason why I have this club. So she's like a little bear. We have kids that are 7 to 14 in the club, and like I said, we have 5 working hives and 2 pollinator gardens. So we're doing education and observation and using all manner of industry, like building and weeding and watering the gardens and building the hives. So it's a nice varied group. And pardon me, the children have the opportunity to have initiative to go visit the hives and observe them on their own, have them in their backyard. But then we can also meet that first Monday of every month and talk about subjects that are relevant to beekeeping and pollinators and Barnstable County in general, because one of the things that you learn very quickly about beekeeping is your environment is you are totally connected to it. So it's a way for these children to be connected to the county, which is great. We have 2 beekeepers mother, who's a professional cake baker, and she made these honey cupcakes, so you're more than welcome to eat them. And I've got napkins because they're honey cupcakes. And there's some honey candy if you want to check that out. So you're more than welcome to try that. Does anyone have any questions about?
I do.
Yes, Maggie?
What happens to the bees in the winter?
Well, Ella? Not to put you on the spot. Actually, to put you on the spot. Do you want me to answer the question, or do you want to answer a question?
I think I know the answer. In the winter, the bees get cold. That's basically all I know. They get cold, and I don't think it affects them that much, really.
To extrapolate a little bit, the males are kicked out because they just eat. They don't produce anything. So in the fall,
bees imitating life, right?
I have nothing to do with it. It's their life cycle. So the drones are literally pushed out of the hive because all they do is eat. And the bee cycle is about 6 weeks. So some bees live and some bees don't. They want to keep it about 90 degrees in the hive, so they get pretty much a core of bees. In the winter, the cluster and try to overwinter. They don't always make it because it can get very cold and they can starve if you don't maintain your hive correctly or if there's not enough honey. Some beekeepers will take all of the honey away from the bees, and then the bees will die, and they'll just get a new package of bees in the springtime and start again. Some beekeepers will leave honey, like 80 pounds of honey, so the bees can overwinter. But the cycle goes on. We do have a lot of die-off in Barnstable County for a variety of different reasons: starvation, poor management, the real cold. There's a lot of different reasons. I don't know about colony collapse disorder. I think Andy would. We don't have that.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Colony collapse disorder, which has been in the national news and of real importance to beekeepers nationwide. Andy was just talking about Africanized bees. He just came up from the Carolinas and from a conference, and they were talking about Africanized bees. So I'm thinking about Africanized bees and colony collapse disorder and ways that we can really talk to the kids about what's going on and stuff that they can learn about on their own. So the bees can overwinter or they can die. It's kind of a trick question. Is anybody else?
Kids are both members of the club?
Ellen and Declan are both members of the club. They come to the meetings, they volunteer. We do a lot of volunteer work, like during the county fair and Harvest Fest and that kind of thing. So they're definitely, they're 2 of 13-ish members.
Right. How would someone contact you if they wanted more information or to join the club?
They can call Barnstable County Cooperative Extension 508-375-6690 and talk to the 4-H Administrative Assistant, Chris St. Pierre.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you sponsor a camp, a 4-H camp?
No, but there is a 4-H camp, Camp Farley on Cape Cod, and it was built in the 1930s, and it's a beautiful, well-run 4-H facility. And if you ever have a chance to go over there, it's been well-maintained and is great. My daughter goes to 4-H Farley and absolutely adores it.
Yeah, my granddaughter's 4 years.
It's a beautiful facility. It's something we should all be really proud of. It's actually physically so cute. So it was built in the 1930s, and they've refurbished it. And it looks 1930-ish, but very clean and modern. Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? I'd be happy to answer anything.
Okay. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, these are my grandchildren.
Okay.
My daughter, that's
all right.
So please take a cupcake and enjoy. There's, like I said,
Yourself and let's head to the bus, right? I have to be